What is going on, everyone? It is my pleasure to present a game for a lot of ego points. There's a lot on the line here. In the left-hand corner of the map, we've got Majuda. He's playing as Odin. In the right-hand corner of the map, we've got Benny WR, also playing as Odin. And yes, we are in the Athenian League God tier, I believe, quarterfinals. So, for those of you playing at home, you might be wondering, I checked out the brackets for the Athenian League, and 3 people promoted to the playoffs. And I say to you, yes, they did. 3 people did. How do you make a 8-player bracket with only 6 people? Well, the people who get first in their group go straight to the semifinals. So there will be 3 series to get played. Well, 3 series, 4 series, 5 series. There will be some 4 series to get played for these playoffs rather than the other one. Okay? Sounds good? Nonetheless, let me tell you a little bit about Majuda. This guy goes back to Legacy days, actually. He was a Loki player, and he was a man who was after abusing, using, and otherwise trying to figure out the best possible way for him to get a advantage through certain, let's just say, nearly tournament legal hotkeys. Now, Legacy, for those of you who don't know, you could do a lot with hotkeys. You could do a lot, and you weren't meant to be able to. For example, if I select a unit here and I try and build a wall, right? If I want to build this wall, I have to, or a wall segment, I have to double click that wall to get it to click down. However, there was a way in which you could get a alternate hotkey, and you could then build the wall, and you would be able to place it just as a wall segment. Now, on top of that, you could also see this middle wall. You could make a long wall piece. You could make a short wall piece as your little click buttons. And Majuda was all about that. Now, unfortunately for him, there is no longer that sort of craziness where you have to go and investigate all the shenanigans and trying to figure out what you can get away with and what you can't get away with. Everything, pretty much everything. I don't think we've got any like special tournament rules in Retold at the moment. Everything is legal. If you can do something in the game, we're cool with it, because you know that's the game. The game allows for what it allows for. And if something pops up that's unfair, we might have to start thinking about it. But you know, in this situation, it's pretty good. Now, we just saw our man over here, Majuda. He is killing some cows. He is killing a lot of cows. He's a cow killer. What is he going for? He must be going for an immediate Valkyrie here. 2 Valkyrie right off the bat. I like it. He's got to be going for it, though. He's just killed all of those. There he goes. Valkyrie now coming in. What a strange opening. Charging forward with the Ursa. Benny has got the nicest map you've ever seen in your entire life. He's got wood. He's got the walls. He's got the temple. The Great Hall is able to be attacked, and we are hit with a pause. Programming macros should be illegal. No. This is not macros. This wasn't, when I'm talking about with Majuda, wasn't macros. We are basically that, like, you had to go into your use. The line was blurry at best, to be completely honest. You had to go into your user files, as we're going to start up. You have to go into your user files to set up a auto queue hotkey, because you couldn't do that you couldn't do that normally, right? And there's a bunch of other things you couldn't do normally, so you would set up hotkeys in your user file to do it. And it just so happens that some are... What great little house there from Benny, and he snipes the Valk! Valk sniped. The Sniper Rooney. A little cheeky forest fire to come through as the villagers will need to pull off of this forest up onto the top here. And another forest fire coming through as well. That's a strange one, but it is one nonetheless as Garmajuda charges in here, just trying to get some damage done somewhere at the moment. Another Valk over onto this side, poking in here as, I mean, there is another Valk here that if Garmajuda is paying attention, he could turn and take out. He's not paying attention, he pulls, but he's going to be taking even more damage here, trying to get through over onto this side to maybe snipe another villager up onto the top, picking some units off there as well. However, Garmajuda looks like he is out of here for now. He's got 6 speed, 38. No, he got clipped. He got clipped and he got clipped again. Is he dead? He's trying to get back home. In the main base, there are double great halls. The raiding cavalry spammage will start out as the Herser trying to get some good value here. Villagers getting smacked with that big hammer as the Valkyrie in and Garmajuda microing. Great control, almost sniping a villager. One Herser goes down, snipes a villager, gets out. The Valkyrie over here does look like it went down as the raiding cavalry were in to push Benny back. But after all is said and done, this early game here is absolute chaos. As Benny WR pops into the sentry tower. He's pushed off his gold mine yet again by a handful of Herser. And after the dust settles, Garmajuda is a full 1,000 score in front of Benny WR here. He snipes the Valk as well. Gets out of there. Looking to get over here and snipe some villagers to boot here. This is absolutely brutal in the mirror. As a villager, gonna get sniped. And Garmajuda is out of there. He's done the dash. He's done the damage. He's done the deed. Gonna start walling up the map. He's got such a big advantage. He's up by 2 villagers only. But he's got an extra 600 military already trained out and all the other good stuff. He could probably think about just dropping a town center here, and there would be nothing that Benny could do to punish it. Meanwhile, Garmajuda finishing up on his chickens. He's got Walrus over here. He's got the Elks over here. Does he see it? He doesn't see it, but he's got Hunt over here, Hunt over here. Super nice. On the other side, Benny cannot get over to some Hunt at all here. And Benny isn't building a single villager at the moment. He doesn't have the food income. He's got 3 villagers on food, which, if it's Hunt, does end up being perfectly the right amount to maintain villagers. Now he's going to be kicking up those dwarfs. But yeah, he needs a lot more stuff here. And with the thing that Garmajuda can now do to also ramp up his advantage is run around with these raiding cavalry and just snipe the Hunt. Take the favor. Claim it all. Spam Valks. As he charges in. We'll be pulling out, but he can easily take some fights there if he wants to. As Garmajuda up to the top side. Does he see this? He kind of does. I mean, this is all going to be walled up, so there's not going to be a whole lot he can do here. He could drop... Wait, is this... This is shallows. Okay. I think it's shallows.
Yo.
Yeah. But he will be able to sneak through here. We'll see if he can get in. There is that Herser just sitting, waiting, watching. He sees a couple of glimpses. A glimpse of the cavalry coming through here. No units over here just yet. 2 defense, no reaction as Garmajuda gets in and he's on top of the villagers. This is an absolutely brutal raid, ladies and gentlemen. I think nearly every single one of those wood villagers goes down, and now it's a 5 villager differential. The wall's coming up over here, but Garmajuda is easily going to be able to break through that and escape. No problems there. On the other side, the Raven there for Benny, searching for something. The only way back into this game right now for Benny is to get some revenge raids. He needs to get some kills here. As we do see a cheeky little lion going after the villagers over here. But yeah, Benny needs to get some raids in. He needs to get something to happen, and quickly. The problem is he doesn't have Thundering Hooves. Now, granted, Garmajuda does have Thundering Hooves. So he doesn't have Thundering Hooves. He doesn't have medium upgrades. Garmajuda has both. So he's got 6.6 speed raiding cavalry at this point. Which means if you go off for a raid, even if you pick the villages, Garmajuda will be able to track your raiding cavalry down and take them out as well. So it's going to be really, really challenging for him to make this work. Some attempts at walls to come in onto this position. But 22 raiding cavalry against 9. And that is going to be a big amount of pain on the pullback. Well, it's going to be maybe one dead raiding cavalry here. Unless Garmajuda lets it live, which he does. He is a honorable Odin player. Now, the walls are up all across him. This is so brutal. He's just completely cutting Benny off of the map. You don't get a gold mine here. You don't get a gold mine here. You don't get a gold mine here. He's left this open. So Benny can move over onto that side. However, and we do see a little cheeky attempt here from Benny to go for a raid. He sees the villagers, potentially. He's got the Raven there. He sees the villagers. He's going to go for it. So this will be a little bit of return fire. Now the dwarves need to get over onto this position. And we do see Garmajuda now setting up on this final gold mine. Even losing all these villagers, I'm not sure it's going to matter. It's going to be a slight villager lead now for Benny. Or he's equalized on villagers, but he's still behind by a fair amount of military here. That being said, there are 10 herdmen. Well, more than 10 herdmen. There are 13 herdmen here for Benny. As the dwarves coming in here. This is exactly what Benny needs, actually. He's got the defense with the herdmen. Oh, misses those dwarves as they pull back down to the bottom. Raiding cavalry, searching, trying to figure out where they went. Dwarves up onto this side, pulling back up to the cliff there to just say, I'm out of here. But yeah, he gets the gold mine. He's equalized on villages to some degree here. He's still behind on military, but I mean, some walls. He's got the walls. He's got the defenses. He can try and hold this game for a little bit longer. Now, one idea here to make things really difficult for Garmajuda to end the game is to choke this up even more. Maybe grab this town center. Maybe put a tower down on this side here. Now, Njord is the god of choice here for Garmajuda, so that does make a fortification-style defense a little bit tricky. But nonetheless, we'll see if Garmajuda can do this. He doesn't have a single thrown axeman, which, I mean, that's the dangerous part here for Garmajuda. Benny, on the other hand, 18 herdmen, they will work very, very hard here. Meanwhile, Garmajuda says, hey, I can go into the main base. If you're just going to hang over on that right side, let me attack somewhere else. I've got plenty of places I can attack you here. As the villagers going to be pulling into the town center. Huge amount of idle time caused here. And Benny now forced to get over onto this position. The herdmen coming in. It's a nice little choke here, and Garmajuda says, great, let me run. I don't need this. Meanwhile, Walking Woods gets dropped over onto this position. I'm going to be attacking through here, can clean up the Longhouse and try and open this position up. Rotate around. He still absolutely needs some sort of an answer for herdmen in this game. And the Walking Woods will be able to continue breaking through here. Herdmen poking away, doing what they can. Heavy raiding cavalry is in now for Garmajuda. As Benny valiantly fighting up onto this top position. He's still got... All he needs to do is catch Garmajuda asleep at the wheel with these herdmen. He's up in the top position here. He's defending. Lots of raiding cavalry, lots of Valkyrie coming through. But, I mean, Realistically, you almost just want full pure Herdman right now if you're Benny. A little cheeky wall here to prevent the retreat. As the raiding cavalry say, oh, I'll go after the town center. Pulls off. Now the Herdman attacking a mountain giant. Not what he wants. As those Herdmen will go to town here. You cannot just build raiding cavalry and expect to beat the direct counter in the Herdman. That being said, there are a lot of myth units here, and that seems to be enough. Maybe he's just got too many upgrades. Maybe those Herdmen were not as strong as I thought. I'm eating my words right now. Buff Herdman. This mountain giant is doing a lot of work. On the other side here, look at those raiding cavalry. He's done so much damage. He's also up on the top as well. Oh, no, he's not. Never mind. And Garmajuda does manage to crack through. I think he just microed. Like, the mountain giant should have 0 damage on it. Because pretty much all of those units, I think, were Herdmen that were attacking the mountain giant. So if you think about this, the mountain giant took 650 HP worth of damage at 50% hack armor. If you then take a look at what the actual Herdman is, that's doing... Actually, we can just... Do we have one somewhere? No. Let me have a look. Herdman. Herdman is doing 6 hack at the moment. So that means it's doing 3 damage to that. So you have to double the damage, right? So... And then divide by 6. But anyways... You could probably just say that it's just a huge amount of damage. And then you say, how much would you do onto the raiding cavalry? You probably kill them all. So a bit of an unfortunate lesson there to learn from Benny. Really have to control those Herdmen. Make sure they're attacking the right unit for the entirety of the fight. It's tough, but you got to do it. Anyways, first game going to Garmajuda. It is a long series here, ladies and gentlemen. 5-game series, I believe. So we'll move into game number 2. And we will see how things are going to go. Alrighty, another game, another you, another me. We're into game number 2 here. Garmajuda, the raiding cavalry Valkyrie spamming extraordinaire with the most crazy of build orders you've ever seen. I have not seen anyone doing this with Freyja yet. He's gotten 0 eco-ups. He is currently spamming onto gold. And he is herding all of his animals under his town center. I have never seen this before. I do not expect to see it again. He's dropping a temple already. He is unironically rushing a temple out in this game. Now, my guess here is he's been following the man with the big brain. He has been following the man with the big brain, Mr. Husk Soup, the 5th. Fast temple into fast Hersir. To do what? Grab relics. This is the Soup 420 Blaze It Loki strategy adapted for Freyja. And he is going to be out on the map. And he is going to be finding some shenanigans here as he's wandering right up to the top. And he is blessed with the fur of Boit immediately. So a little bit lucky there. A little bit lucky, I have to say. If you take a look on the other side, relics are spawning quite far away from someone. But he gets that first relic in. And he's moved up with the first line... The literal first line of scouting, he spots the second relic. Man, if my luck was as good as this guy's, I tell you what, I would be a very lucky boy. That's 2 relics already claimed. There's only 2 more to go. There's the Titan's treasure, and there's the Eye of Ornlu. As we see the Berserk moving around. Is he getting another Hersir out? He is getting more. Why stop at 1 when you can build 2? Why stop at 2 when you could build 3? Now, the big advantage here, I say big, quote unquote, in quotation marks, the big advantage. The big advantage here, as he is spamming out dwarves at the moment as well, is that he's going to advance really late, which isn't really a bad thing either. As the Ursa moving down, and he looks like he might actually find this relic as well. He's almost got the entirety of the map scouted at this point. He knows the relic spawns on this map. Oh, he barely misses it. Oh no, his luck is run out. No more luck for one Garmajuda. And he is now heading to the classical age pretty quickly here. He has, however, made 6 dwarves, of which he's only leaving 3 on gold. So his economy is hurting here. But yeah, he's missed this relic. He's found a relic over here. For some reason not picking it up. But he is searching for early damage, it looks like. He wants to rush. Everybody told me, Freyja, that's a defensive civ. Garmajuda says, hold my beer. I've got some news for you, Mr. Boit, sir. Freyja is an aggressive god as well. He's going Freyja as well, because why not? But he did leave this relic. I'm a bit confused. Is he making more? He's still spamming more. And he's killed his pigs again! He wants another Valk! He's doing the exact same strat! He's going full send! The walls this time are up. Forest Fire is in. And that's going to be a dead temple and a dead Ursa! The ultimate value early game Forest Fire to pick off the forward, the temple and the villager or the Ursa. Absolute insanity. Benny down a temple, base wide open. Ursa spamming out for Benny at the moment. We'll see if he can hold on here. He's going to be in for some very difficult times moving forward. Has a great haul coming up in the main base for Garmajuda. He's coming over onto this side. And just like in the last game, Garmajuda says, I don't need gatherers. I've got dwarfs. Dwarfs don't cost food. I can just make more dwarves. Dwarves are good. I'll just build dwarves. Why not? However, Benny in this game is not amused. Benny says, excuse you, I'm gonna start bashing you out of here as one Ursa falls. Benny is off to the races now. The Valkyrie coming over onto this side. Got to be very careful with this one. Those Ursa are scary. As a Forest Fire gets dropped. Units going down on this pullback are absolutely brutal. I mean, I don't even know who you could say is actually in the lead here now, moving into this part of the game. One player has lost a temple. The other player has lost a bunch of military units. I'd say it's kind of equal, except one player has got a whole bunch of dwarves and 2 relics, and the other player has got the correct kind of units, but he is also putting some gatherers over onto gold. As the raiding cavalry set up onto this side now, going to be searching in to the main base. We've got a little bit of a wall shenanigans going over here. And Garmajuda not quite able to get in there, but the wall will go down. And the Ursa are over here to say, not today, Sonny Jim, and Benny is back to work. There's a raiding cavalry getting poked down. Benny pulls back. And we're off to the races. So we've got some thundering hooves coming through for Garmajuda. A marker coming down as well. And a little bit of a calm before the storm. Benny has survived the early game now. He's going into a similar strat as the last time. He's getting some herdmen out. He's got his Ursa. His villagers are all happily working on this hunt. He does get broken through here, but that's just going to be a little bit of a slowdown. Benny is pulling these villages a little bit too soon. This is... One thing here is with raiding, a lot of the time you're not actually raiding for villagers kills, especially at the top level. The players are really good at defending at the top level. They're really good at not losing villages. I remember watching Magic once and going, man, Magic is so quick at making these reactions and not losing any villages. He pulls them super early. But if you know your opponent is doing this, now we just start raiding even harder, and we're not actually committing to actually killing any villages. We're just forcing idle time and getting further and further in front, distracting our opponent, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, you got to be careful not to pull too early. You got to make the right decisions in those moments as well. As now Garmajuda is setting up some old school building placement. We haven't seen this in a hot minute. It's old school because we used to see it all the time in Legacy. Players would run forward, build buildings around a gold mine and say, okay, kill my buildings, and then you can take the gold mine. But now with a whole bunch of herdmen, he's going to be able to break through here. He wants to take out the Longhouse and everything else. Look at this beautifully constructed base here from Benny. Great hall, Longhouse into wall. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. That's such a cool idea. Meanwhile, Garmajuda utilizing the speed of his raiding cavalry. Coming in, we'll be losing a raiding cavalry here to the town center while trying to break through this wall here as the herdmen are already in. And he has to pull back, loses one raiding cavalry. The walls will get repaired back up, no problems. Meanwhile, Longhouse in the center, armory as well here. Could go down. Might catch the upgrades here. Does anyone know if this animation plays while armory upgrades are coming through or not? Or does it just always play? Is there an armory over here? Oh, it always plays. Never mind. Is the Berserks the least useful Norse unit? Nah, I think Berserks are really good, especially with Odin. I think they're underutilized. In fact, I think the Berserks could be good units here to mix in for Benny. He's already got enough herdmen out. Doesn't really need more of these. He's already hard countering his opponent. He just needs some more oomph to take out the Valkyries. So Herser and Berserks with the upgrade would be a great way to transition at the moment. Nonetheless, Garmajuda getting walled up, making sure everything's nice and safe. Up onto the top side. Benny claiming his map. The game continues along. Benny has now found himself the slightest of edges. However, what does this really mean? When you're playing against Freyja, you've got to find a fairly significant advantage because the longer the game goes on, the less Freyja needs to pay for technologies. And the further in front he's going to get because he's going to hit that late game a little bit earlier than the Odin. As now the army of Benny searching here for a little something to kill. And Garmajuda sees his opportunity to pounce. Units out of position, coming through to catch out. Now the army for Benny needs to come through and defend here. As he's coming in with a little bit of a pincer maneuver, but he is late to the party here. This gives a lot of opportunity here for Garmajuda to get some damage done. And Garmajuda says, all right, I'm out of here. I see the rest of your units. I don't need to hang out. But these units over here are falling. Up to the top side, Garmajuda searching. There is an opening into this position as the walls need to come down here as well. However, over onto this side, the wall for Garmajuda will go down and he has to pull off of this gold mine now. Into the main base, however, raiding cavalry coming. He sees the wooden walls. There are units over here to defend. The villages on these chickens are also open. But the herdmen are back, ready to defend. But we see a big raid over here. One villager down. Two villagers down. Over onto this side, the walls will fall. And a good little fight there. Good little raid from the Freyja player, Garmajuda, as he gets out. However, damage-wise, military-wise, Benny's got to be happy with this position right now. These herdmen are doing work. It's a raiding cavalry getting massacred. And Garmagita just refuses in this moment here to change game plans. He's been saying, well, it worked last game. I spammed raiding cavalry to all end. But in the last game, he did so much damage early on. In this game, he did a little bit. He got a temple, he got a Hearser, but that's about it. You have to be adapting to what your opponent's doing here. And at this point, Benny, he can just double down on what he's doing because Garmagita is double downing on the raiding cavalry pain train. As a dwarf gets spotted here, will the red units spot them? They're moving up to the top side. It looks like not today. He gets up here. He's going to sneak this gold mine for the time being. It's now Garmagita's main base under attack. He's spread out onto all these gold mines all over the map, stealing gold over here, eating pigs on this top position. Benny getting a little bit reckless with his raiding cavalry. Might want to consider upgrading those to medium as the Herdman charging in here, getting a little bit of damage done. Villager gets sniped and Benny, a great little fight over onto this side as watchtowers come through. Couple of dwarves managing to stay alive as Benny is now after the dwarves. He sneaks through on this side. These ones pulling off to the top corner here. I don't think they're going to be able to survive here as Garmagita. He's pulled a sneaky, or attempted to pull a sneaky one too many times in this game. Meanwhile over here, not a terrible fight here for Garmagita. He does that cheeky little Valkyrie micro. And you can see the Herdmen, when they're actually attacking raiding cavalry, they're absolutely pumping it home. But if they're attacking those Valkyries and they've lost a lot of HP with no Hearser there, you're not doing that much damage. Meanwhile, you are taking damage from the raiding cavalry. It's not like they don't do anything. 8 damage per second is not nothing. It's 8 damage per second. You know, a little bit of an attack over here as Benny says, all right, I'll run. Runs a little bit early, pulls out of the walls, no problems. You can get back onto the gold mine a little bit later. Is there a heroic age coming in? Almost. Scardy now clicked up for Benny as it looks like he might be running away with this game here. He has got Ghoul Bursty. Yes, Ghoul Bursty could help him with some of this defense, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here. Look at all the Valkyries in for Garmagita, though. That's a lot. How many Hearser are in on the other side here? There's only one Hearser in for Benny at the moment. While he is going up through Scardy, the Valkyrie could turn the entirety of this game. On the other side, 188 favor. How many Frost Giants do you want? Tell me you want a butt ton of Frost Giants without telling me you want a butt ton of Frost Giants. Are you kidding me? He still doesn't have his raiding cavalry upgraded either. Meanwhile, Garmagita says, all right, I see my opportunity. I'll leave my base. I will kill your gold mine yet again. Now, with Scardy in, you got to be careful. You don't want to drop Frost until Ghoul Bursty comes through. When Ghoul Bursty is in, drop Frost. Frost the Ghoul Bursty out of the game. No problems. He decides the Frost over here, which does mean Ghoul Bursty can get called down here. But Garmagita doesn't even want to do it. He says, I'm out of this game. GG. I actually think this was maybe not the right call. A bit of an early resign here from Garmajuda. If he drops Ghoul and Burstian, he's got all these Valkyrie. He's doing a ton of damage here. The Heroic Age God Power is down. And yeah, you can't use these for 44 seconds, but that's fine. You're going to kill off all these units here. Nonetheless, a well-played game by Benny. Great defense. An interesting strat by Garmajuda, but it doesn't quite work out. Let's move into game number 3. We've got an equal game here now, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very close. Alrighty, we're into game number 3 of this best of 5 for the quarterfinals of the God tier division of the Athenian League. Garmajuda says, I'm going to stick with what I know. He's going to stick with his Freyja. He says, I know this god. It's sort of similar to Odin. Let's play it and see what can happen here. He's doing the same opening that he did in the last game with an early temple. We'll see how it's going to go. Benny, on the other hand, can no longer pick Odin and says, you know what? I'm going to go for something different. I'm going to set. Set the god of choice. Set versus Freyja. Not a terrible way to play, especially not on a map like Savannah. It can be very, very difficult for a Norse player to, or a Freyja player to get their stuff going. Now, seeing as the way we've seen Garmajuda play here thus far, Garmajuda says, I love this idea of going fast temple into Hersur. I'm going to go for it again. Because why not? The only problem is he's a little bit short on wood. And he has to get a little bit of walking time here to come over onto this wood line and get himself going. But nonetheless, he is going to be searching the map. Unlike last game, misses the relics, but he's going to come through and he will notice Archimedes' ledger in the corner. Over here, there's also Dwarven Horseshoes, very important relic. Over onto this side, there's also the Tusk of Dankang. And finally, there is the Anvil of Hephaestus. Some very, very nice relics. Nonetheless, Garmajuda says, I will take that one. Is he building another Hersur here? He gets his house up over onto this side. Good to go. And he is getting that extra Hersur. So he takes his time here, searching into his opponent's base to see exactly what he could potentially attack early on. Houses are already up. Defense is already in. There is what looks to be some sort of a... Is there? This kind of looks... No, for some reason it looks like there's an opening there, but it's good house placement. It's good defense. No problems. I don't think a Hersur could squeeze here anyways. Temple coming up. And all the other good stuff. Now, what Garmajuda has been doing here is he has been going for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's been going for the pigs and getting up a second. What am I saying? He's been going for a second Valkyrie early on, pretty consistently. Now, I don't know if he's got enough animals here though. Is the current problem? He's got a lot of Hersur. He's got a lot of favor income at the moment with 3 Hersur out and also 2 relics. That's kind of like having 5 Hersur out. But the Anubis is going to be on the way for Benny. We've seen this quite a lot. I mean, look, here's the thing. There's 2 types of players. There's a player who is playing their main god, and there is a player who is playing their off god. If you're playing your main god, oftentimes you can come up with several different strategies. You can kind of see Garmajuda is sort of... I mean, he's playing the same strategy on 2 different gods. That's fair enough. But that's his strategy. He's come up with it, right? When you go into your off god, oftentimes the best way to like start off with it is to just learn like one strat. And it's very simple here to learn one strat inside a set, which is classical fighting with a lot of barracks and a lot of spearmen and Anubites and all the other good stuff, and just learn how to do that. Obviously, once you lift the hood a little bit of what playing set is and what playing Egyptian is or what playing Greek is or etc., you realize, no, there's actually like a lot of strategy going on, as we do see the Hersur charging in here, and Garmajuda says, excuse you, I got dudes out. I'm going to stop you building that barracks. I'm going to kill all this. Priest and Pharaoh getting out of position. But they do pull back into those Plague of Serpents there. The defense is in. Forcing that Serpent in that early, that's good there for Garmajuda. Now he doesn't have to worry. Now he does not have to worry at all. Generally, this God Power is such a pain. You drop it down on a gold mine, you win there. We see a Forest Fire coming in as Garmajuda going to be opening up the main base of Benny. But Benny's got enough units out now. He's got a couple of Spearmen. He's got the Animals of Set. He should be okay here to defend. He's got a couple of heroes. Does not need to run from this gold mine in the slightest. He can definitely defend, but he does have to be careful while that Forest Fire is firing. There's a couple of animals getting sniped over here. A little bit more damage there. Almost sniping the Valkyrie. Garmajuda gets out of there. He can heal that Valkyrie back up to full. And the damage is done early game here. But Garmajuda also sort of slowed down as well in his own little thing. 2 great halls are up, and he's pumping dudes out. And we'll see how things are going to go. The base is open, but one little cheeky wall over here or a couple of houses is another idea. Personally, I prefer to throw the wall up, just faster to build, get the units back to work. You need the houses anyways. But there's that wall coming through, and Benny is going to be ready to start spamming Spearmen. Now, thus far, we have seen Garmajuda say, guys, I like raiding cavalry. I like Valkyrie. I'm going to spam raiding cavalry and Valkyrie. And he hasn't yet been forced off of them. Well, he was forced off of them last game, but he didn't adapt. And in this game, these are all Spearmen coming out. Spearmen are not Herdmen. Herdmen are better against raiding cavalry than Spearmen are. However, Spearmen are better than Herdmen are against everything else. And that includes these pretty bulky, but pretty weak to Spearmen, Valkyrie. 375 HP at 50% hack armor is not weak, but they do cost 480 resources with that 200 favor. Sorry, 200 food, 18 favor. 380 resources, excuse me. But nonetheless, pushes Garmajuda out of here, and Benny gonna keep pumping out these Spearmen, holding on, waiting, watching, thinking, dreaming, considering. As the priests, the villager come over here to grab the zebra and all the other good stuff. Walls coming up onto the front. Will be wanting to come forward onto these giraffe. Another option here would be to not go into a new bites at all, because the Valkyrie kind of shut them down a little bit. And the fact that your opponent's not really making any thrown axemen does sort of lose the value of the Anubite a little bit. I mean, this is metagaming a little bit because we kind of know what Garmajuda is going for, but in the middle of a series, you can kind of adapt to what your opponent is kind of going, and you can sort of figure it out. Anyways, a different idea here for Benny, instead of pumping out Anubites, would be to pump out Gazelle. As a raiding cavalry Valkyries coming through, the villagers over here are caught out, making a break for the tower. Gets a couple of villagers in, does block the other 3 off. 3 villagers killed off their great raid from Garmajuda, as Benny a little bit too slow on that one. Urso over onto this side, getting poked down. Can't really take that fight. Has to pull back into his main base. But, man, the pressure here from Garmajuda has been incredible. He's taken the game into his own hands. He's forced Benny into a suboptimal position. And the game continues from here. At this point, though, Garmajuda does need to think about what to do next. Now, one idea here could be stop spamming Valks, stop spamming raiding cavalry, go heroic age, and then spam rock giants. At which point, the rock giants can taunt the spearmen, and then even though you've got all these raiding cavalry, they're not going to die in the fight because the rock giants are taunting the spearmen. So you can go rock giant raiding cavalry Valkyrie to break through this spearman army. If you're further enough, if you're far enough in front from all these raiding cavalry raids. That's true. He could go Bragi for the fastest Valkyries in the world. What do they go up to? 6.9 speed or something? It's like an extra 5% speed. Or is it 10%? I don't know. Raiding Cavalry trying to snipe a little something here as the Raiding Cavalry into the main base here. Sniping 2 villages. Picking off a couple of spearmen as well. Oh, doesn't get this one. Just the 1 villager kill there. As he pulls out of that position. The tiniest bits of raids. Now onto the front. The villagers here are out in the open. Benny has just not really built his base perfectly. He's got his gold mine is really nice. But this position up here is open, and that means that anything that's over here is going to get poked down. He needs to keep things a little bit more compact so he can happily sit on his giraffe here and defend. As Garmajuda hiding up the top, healing everything up. I'm going to put some pressure over onto this side as 1 Raiding Cavalry does end up going down here. Now, the only thing here for Garmajuda that I'm a little bit worried about is the fact that Garmajuda is only building dwarves. Even though the villager advantage is in favor of Garmajuda here, Benny does not really need to panic because those dwarves are not working very hard. He's only got 8 of them, I guess, on wood, but he is putting a lot onto gold, which I think means he's buying food, or he's planning to buy food. This villager's getting pushed off. Great defense here from those villagers as 1 gets taken down over onto this side. Garmajuda retreating out with the Raiding Cavalry there. Sniping units left, right, and center. And this raiding playstyle is very tough to deal with. But let me point out one thing here. Put a tower down. Get yourself crenellations. You don't even need to upgrade it, actually. Just put a sentry tower down here. And then all of a sudden, I've got a garrison point for me to keep my low HP villagers alive in. No problems. Obviously, get watchtowers and get crenellations as well. And then all of a sudden, these cavalry are going to start getting hit like a truck. And these raids will get shut down completely. Meanwhile, Spearman searching around for Benny. Benny needs to get a revenge raid. He's trying to catch the raiding cavalry out over here. And he does manage to get a little bit of damage onto them, but they're just going to keep running by. It's a lot of damage done. Garmajuda now searching. Will he have the inkling to go up to the top, though? That's the question. Here's a seasoned veteran. Villagers over here do get spotted. A couple of units coming in to just face tank while his villagers pull up to the top side. Spearman over onto this side, dealing with the raiding cavalry there. The Spearman up onto the top here, sitting, waiting, watching, making sure that those raiding cavalry can't get through. And he will get some damage done onto the back here, trying to get some ghost buildings down. Not able to do so. And Garmajuda is just literally running circles around Benny right now. He's got to get back over onto that gold. He's got 0 resources in the bank. 31 villages to 43. Now we see Dizablot, more raiding cavalry, more Valkyrie. This is absolutely insane. He's eating. I mean, technically speaking, these dwarves gather as fast as the Chinese peasants do. I wonder if you can do this strat with Thor as well. Like, everybody goes for the fast dwarven army, but you don't have to. Start with 3 dwarves, go straight onto the gold. Quick temple. And we do see Aegir on the way now for Garmajuda, which basically means he can walk forward, click Tempest. He might even be able to just win the fight with Tempest. The problem is that he doesn't have the... He won't be able to get his heavy upgrades in fast enough. There's just so many spearmen in here for Benny. It almost, like, this is kind of funny. It kind of reminds me of a game I played versus Kavoth. I was like, Kavoth is kind of trolling, but we kind of have a joke about Poseidon and that you open Hippias and then you tech switch into more Hippias. And I had actually lost a few times to that strat, but I was playing set and we just kind of played Spearman Priest versus Hippias Centaur. And I was like, well, I mean, my units counter yours much harder than your units counter mine. And I end up winning, right? But this kind of feels like what Kavoth is doing is kind of just flexing on you. I feel like Garmajuda is just flexing on Benny right now. As he charges around the side here. Gonna break through this wall. Villagers pulling. What can Benny do? He is helpless to deal with the raiding cavalry spam at this point. The only problem here is, I mean, Garmajuda is just getting further and further and further and further and further in front, right? Is he losing villages? He must have lost some villages somewhere. No, he's going to the next stage, that's why. But Garmajuda is just getting further and further and further in front. But he can't actually end this game without taking a fight. And his army just loses to what Benny's got. So he needs to plan for this. He has to say, okay, my army's going to lose. I'm going to have to take a fight, but then we can transition into something else. As raiding cavalry do manage to break through here. Spearmen getting over to defend. Villagers in the main base getting what they can. A market coming up. 570 gold in the bank. 47 favor. I did say that one of the plans that Benny could have gone with here would have been to spam deer. As villagers getting caught out, getting sniped. The spearmen coming through, and a chance to trap this villager over here. Drop a little cheeky wall as Tempest gets dropped. You just stay and fight this. There's no running at this point. Pick off all the units. The Tempest is great if there's not that many units there. But if it's a full army, it doesn't really do a whole lot. And all of a sudden, Benny has completely dominated that fight. His army is still getting struck by these shards. A couple of units getting frozen up, but the rest will be happily running around. And now, Garmajuda seems to be moving into a different unit. He says, why? If raiding cavalry don't work, maybe, just maybe, we'll make Hursa. He's got Sesrumnir. Hursa generate favor as well. And that means more Valkyrie to come through, obviously. Now, the problem here is... that one, Benny is throwing away a lot of food where those villages are holding... Every one of those villages is at least holding one food. And there is... How many villages there? 24. There's at least 24 food there. Probably more. More villages go... The Ursa raids! As if Benny hasn't done enough damage already. Sorry, Garmajuda hasn't done enough damage to Benny already. Garmajuda just keeps going, nope, I'm going to kill more. But now it's pure Hursa versus pure Spearman. And I'll tell you, Hursa do beat Spearman. With Sesrumnir, with upgrades. They do win. So now Benny has to make a decision. We've got 26 villages and a dream. There's a random rock giant over here. But he's got to move off of these spearmen into axemen to deal with these Hursa. Oh. It's pretty rare to see a rock giant raid, but we are seeing this here. That's the Hursa coming in. Take the fight. Can those spearmen manage to hold here? The villagers all sitting idly by. On the side here. Pharaoh to take down one rock giant. If he had that rock giant in the fight, it could be a pretty dominating fight, but it doesn't look like he needs it there as the spearmen end up falling. More spearmen to come back. He was missing units in that army, and it looks like it's not going to be enough. And Garmajuda, somehow, some way, manages to raid Benny WR to death. He says, I don't know what a Longhouse is. I know what great halls are. I know what a market is. I know what an armory is. I know what a temple is. I know what a house is. I know what a farm is. I know what a wall is. Longhouse? Is that a building available to Norse? Nah. The no Longhouse challenge was successful here for Garmajuda. I believe it's best of 5, right? Is it best of 5 or is it best of 3? Was that just the win? I'm pretty sure it's a best of 5 at this point. But that was a bit of a statement piece. Let me just double check. This is some sort of BO5, right? Or is it BO3? I'll just check. It is best of 5. Okay, so best of 5. So there's still a chance here for Benny. But Garmajuda is up 2-1 now in this best of 5 series. And that means, well, no longer is there a Odin. No longer is there a Freyja. But Garmajuda here, he does still have, what, a cheeky little Thor? We'll have to wait and see. Let's jump into the next game. Alrighty, into game number 4. Currently 2-1 for Garmajuda. He has run with the same strat in every single game. With now to be potentially 3 different civs. He said, I've got it with Odin. Check. He got stumped with Freyja for 1 game, but he gets it with Freyja for the 2nd game. Now we move into game number 3. And it looks like Garmajuda is doing the same strategy. He is doing the same strategy. Temple down. Relics on this map are plentiful. Tar's Scepter. Farms going down in cost. I know that one. Over here, Arrows of the Alpha. That one is towers getting more damage. Buildings getting more damage. Close enough. Over here, let me guess. Fur of Boit. This is Heroes Lifesteal? Oh, regen. Hero regen. Close. I mean, life back anyways. Same difference. Tale of Cerberus. That one is your myth units. Taking less time on the recharge. Recharge time going down. 9 Cauldrons is your hill forts. Units becoming a little bit more strong in the armor department by 5%. And finally, Arrows of Heracles. Is this towers doing bonus damage versus myth units? Did I get it right? Damn it! It's ranged soldiers plus 5%. I was close. We're doing our best. We're doing our best. But Garmajuda, yeah. In this format, he can literally do this strat against everything. Now, surely Benny doesn't get done twice here. Same strat getting owned in the early game will not feel good. Especially if it's a different god. We'll have to wait and see. Ursa are coming out. He's grabbing goats all over the place. Pigs all over the place. Coming up to the top side, searching. For those of you who don't know, Marsh spawns relics around the outside. So if you want to do this strat, it's actually really easy on Marsh. You send a Hersa here, around to here, and you send a Hersa around to here. It's always around the outside. Always in a circular motion. As the Freyja is on the way. And we will see Garmajuda taking it to Benny yet again. New DLC means even more relics are memorized. True. Or you can just look at their description. Nonetheless, a little cheeky house coming up. Garmajuda can also drop an armory behind this. This would be actually kind of nice. I'm imagining it now. Instead of going for like a crazy all-in, you go in, you get the early game damage done. You drop an armory with this guy right now, and then you just get your armory upgrades, and you just like take a villager lead. And then you can go into the Garmajuda full raiding cavalry strat. There's the Hersa wandering in. Villagers pulled off. Gets a couple of smacks before pulling back. Comes over onto the deer now. He does have 2 water buffaloes here to defend. As a forest fire to open up that main base coming down. Going to be targeting down the gold mine immediately. And Benny is just simply now saying, all right, let me just get a barracks up as fast as I possibly can. I got double water buffalo here. I can eat. He's going to be pumping out those spearmen immediately with Pharaoh empowerment here. And all of a sudden, I think Benny will be completely fine. He is getting these up very, very quickly. The gold situation over here, however, has to pull off of that gold mine yet again. Still getting some nice early game value on this attack. House going down. As Benny has not really been putting his houses down like he should. You really want to make sure these are coming down as you're advancing to the classical edge. You're not really waiting any longer. But the spearmen are now on the way. There's a whole bunch of hunt here he can eat. As the villagers now making their way over there. One spearman going down as Garmajuda is trying to take... Oh, no. Keeps the spearman alive with 2 HP. Heal the bad boy up. Heal the Anubite up first. Doesn't really matter. There's a Valkyrie poking in over onto this side. 2 Valkyries and a dream for Garmajuda as he's going to be pumping out these dwarves. Now, unlike in the last game where I was questioning the dwarves, look at the difference now. 0.83 versus 0.86. It's only 0.3 difference. So, Garmajuda's economy is going to be stonking here. Did he throw down an armory? He still doesn't have an armory. It's all go, full send, no stoppage. Some houses to come down over onto this side to defend up as well. Priest Aaron, please heal this bad boy. He's 2 HP. It's worth nearly 75 resources. No.
Into you.
Benny wanders forward. Can't quite figure it out. He said, all right, let's pull back. At the moment here, Benny just needs to sit here and wait. He didn't lose any villagers. He needs to pump units, get his spearmen going, and he should be okay. I mean, again, the other option here, the simple option here against this sort of a raiding playstyle, or your opponent's just going to keep spamming raiding cavalry at you. Just get watchtowers and get crenellations. Shuts it down. Raiding cavalry coming around onto this side. Villager pulling back into the town center. Obviously, you still have to build units and things like that. And see that little damage there. Didn't even get close and still pulls. Didn't even get close. It still pulls away. No problems. But tiny bits of damage here from every single one of these raids. There's the walls coming up over here. Animals getting converted now. No armory in just yet for Garmajuda. Cheeky little axeman going after the Herso over here. Priests going down as the spearmen coming through. Axeman does end up falling. And Garmajuda is setting up on this front like he did in the last game. But at this point now, Benny says, I can just come over here and whack these down. Why not? Raiding cavalry coming around onto the side here. I want to try and break through this. This is a low HP house. Easy entrance into Benny's base at the moment. As the villagers sneaking up onto the water buffalo. Temple going to be getting torn down. It's actually so wild to me that Garmajuda is doing the literal exact same strat here. 3 games in a row. 3 games in a row. Because why not? The temple will get beaten down. A couple of spearmen to come over and defend. Benny's playing a little bit too careful, I think, with these villagers. He's moving them up to here, maybe to grab this gold mine for now. Like, abandoning his base and just leave everyone out of his base. Pushes Garmajuda back up. Walls coming up, and now we see the Dwarven Armory. There's still the potential to increase this villager advantage by a significant amount moving forward here. There's now the Thundering Hooves, medium cavalry in. I think he's going to be ready to start searching around for a little something to do here. The one good thing here for Garmajuda is with all of this speed, he never needs to engage this army. He's got the walls up over here. He's eating the food completely safe. He's been able to set up everything he needs at the moment. Snipes the priest over here. A couple of priests are in. The spearmen coming back through. Nice defense thus far. Garmajuda just trying to get little tiny trades in where he can just win a couple of unit kills without losing too much before moving elsewhere. Couple of Hersa getting poked. Yeah, funnily enough, I think the best way to counter this strat would actually just be to play China and just make nothing but, what are they called? Halberdiers? Halberdier spam. Play Fushi, Chiyo. What are you going to do? You can't run in. You're just going to get locked in place by the Master of Weaponry Tech. Maybe Garmajuda's got a different strat for that planned. Like building mass Hersa. Nonetheless, Spearman coming through. Both players not paying attention. They high-five each other. A beautiful high-five. They literally all, like, touched each other. Nonetheless, walls coming up over here. No need to adapt for Benny. Just keep spamming Spearman. As now Benny says, into the main base of Garmajuda he goes. He's being attacked over here. He retreats with the villagers. Comes through over here. Sees the dwarves. He wants blood. You can't. How are you supposed to defend? If you can't attack the spearmen, how are you supposed to defend a raid? Benny seems to have figured it out. If I just attack him, he has to defend, no? Hersa getting cleaned up. The villagers over here can squeeze through this wall and stay alive, but the ox cart will go down. Over onto this side, a couple of units still getting picked off as Benny moves back into his main base, but this is just counterattacks. The dwarves spreading left, right, and center. Benny has to know there's something in here. He's spreading out. He sees the gold mine is being mined. Will he spot the villagers? Over onto this side, just little bits of raiding cavalry doing little bits of damage. Where is he going? He spots some dwarves in this corner. Some dwarves in this corner. Garmajuda's tricks are very tricky. But in this moment, Benny is not fooled. Though, the dwarves coming over here. I want to see a dock and a transport ship. A dock and a transport ship. Get out of here. Maybe he can take the fight. I don't know. Benny is up villagers by quite a bit. But I mean, can he win this fight? I don't think it's a bad fight to take. Just take it. Just take it. Spearmen versus raiding cavalry. These are basically generalist units, but they're still going to be very powerful in this fight. Those Valkyrie, not that useful when the spearmen are attacking the right units. However, in a battle of numbers, the raiding cavalry do end up coming out on top. But he loses his army. But he just needs to spam out more spearmen now. He doesn't have to force anything. He's up so much economy at this point. Oh, he pokes forward. The dwarves get pulled off of this position. I think Benny can take this fight. No problems. Dropping a Plague of Serpents down now. He probably could have dropped it down over onto this side. Honestly, that would have been a nice little way to keep his units alive. There's a raiding cavalry just going to sit back into the main base. Now, he should heal those units up. They're all so low HP. He's got those Valkyries. He's got 4 of them. Obviously, wants to be on the move. He can't stay still because he needs to make sure, as a temple into the middle of the map, he needs to make sure that Benny is on the defense. And that means he has to keep attacking. But with the temple up, villagers kind of sitting idle over here, trying to bring the spearmen back to defend. These are 6.6 speed raiding cavalry. The villagers making a run. They can get around here, get through into the wall, get back home. No problems. But a couple of villagers will end up meeting their demise to these speedy raiding cavalry. 1, 2. Does he have the upgrade? He still doesn't have the upgrade. Grab yourself survival equipment, my friend. As Benny comes through, does catch him. Not going to be high-fiving this time. Gets a couple of nice kills. So even though the villagers went down, a whole bunch of raiding cavalry to go down is a big deal. Garmajuda spots a villager and says, I'll take that before leaving. As the game to continue along. Villager differential has been equalized a little bit now, though. The military advantage for Benny is overwhelming, though. Still want to see that dock and a transport ship. Anytime you've got a map with water, think about how you can use that water. It's not just an impassable terrain. It's not just a cliff. It's water. It's different. There's raiding cavalry into the main base. Not really a whole lot to kill here. Villagers on top of the... Wow, he pulls those back so early. He's so scared to lose villagers in this game. Get them back to work. He didn't even do anything to deserve this idle time. Get him back. They were safe. We're waiting for Horus Wedge formation. True. It's OP. Meanwhile, look at those Valkyrie are terrifying. He's got 5 Valks here. Raiding cavalry pushing over onto this side as the spearmen do catch them out, getting a lot of damage done as they have to pull around the other side. Over onto this side, taking the fight, but the priests are in. A couple of raiding cavalry there to get some damage done, but the priests not going down here. And this means Valkyrie to go down. And I think Benny may have cracked the raiding cavalry Valkyrie case. Spearmen and some priests. And now we see survival equipment. Finally. This will help with the raids a lot. Meanwhile, Garmajuda into the main base. Sees the wall. Wants to break the wall down. A couple of spearmen to come over and put a stop to this. The priest, though, getting caught out. Got to be careful with them. Just turn around and get the damage done if you can, though, as the spearmen to come through. Alternatively, you can just sit there and heal them. Because they're not going to be able to run away from the raiding cavalry. Just turn on auto heal and just heal. Like, why would you ever want to throw an axeman against the spearman when you can just build more raiding cavalry? Clearly. Now we are seeing Nephthys coming through. I like the Nephthys pick. Get a quick funeral rites in. Get some scorpion men in. They will make short work of the raiding cavalry. And of the Valkyrie as well, to be honest. Oh, Nubite dives in, hits his head on the tree, gets stuck. Classic. As the spearman caught out. I mean, he can just turn and take the fight. Taking these fights isn't a terrible idea. He's got so much more population, and Garmajuda just can't take fights here with these raiding cavalry. It's kind of wild to watch this. Like, obviously here, Garmajuda is incredibly quick. He's so good with these raiding cavalry. He's won 2 games already. But the fact of the matter is, he isn't like, he just wants to just keep doing this. He's going up through Skadi now. He's getting himself bronze weapons as well. But he just keeps on going in on the same strat. He could make Throw an Axeman. He could make Berserks. He could make Herser. But no. Why do that when we can just make more raiding cavalry? I love it. Spearmen coming through. And the raiding cavalry say, get me out of here. It's like, you can't take a fight, but he doesn't need to take a fight. He just runs around. Now, another option here would be that the spearmen just charge in and take down the town. And we are seeing a bunch of Herser now queued up as Garmajuda has said, hang on, I got an idea. What if I do the same strat as before? I sack in, take a whole bunch of villagers down, and then we spam Herser. Ancestors, drop down where? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but minions move at 4.8 speed. I think Benny is a bit of a statement piece here. He says, "Excuse you. If you're not going to build anything, I don't even need ancestors. I'll just throw that away." Up onto this top side. A little cheeky frost there. Onto the minions. And he gets the villager kills. He gets him. Now run! I think the simple play here for Benny is just to get Mythic Age. If you can get to Horror Spears, then I mean, that they will definitely kill off the everything. But now we are legitimately seeing the Ursa transition. Sesrumner Ursa to take out the now heavy spearman. Just so wild. He's so wild. I kind of love it though. He can pump out Frost Giants as well, which are actually really good against spearmen. Not, well, kind of good against spearmen. Not really good against spearmen. They're not like any better than Valkyrie are against spearmen, but they tank more. 600 HP, 55% hack versus 488 HP, 50% hack. They tank more, so they get more damage off, I guess. But now Benny has a second town center. He's got a hill fort or a Migdol coming up in the center of the map. Scorpion Men are coming, which makes sense against the raiding cavalry, but look at the Hersa out. You probably don't want those Scorpion Men anymore. I gotta say this. Has he been taking the market? He's been buying so much food. It's up to 120, 233. God. There's now the Hersa raids coming through. Who wins? It's 45 versus 24, though. I'm pretty sure 45 Spearmen will win this. And these are a little bit slow. They're only 4.8 speed. He needs tax collectors. Hang on. I don't think he has it. No. There's a raiding cavalry searching yet again. Villagers pulling off. Over onto this side. So say, well, we can hit villagers over here. There's a Migdol, though. I legitimately can't believe how well this is working for Garmajuda. I just can't. I refuse. I refuse to believe how well this is working for Garmajuda. The spearmen come through. Scorpion Men getting targeted down. Villagers pulling off. Villagers dying in the main base here as well. A villager lead now for the one town center, Garmajuda. What the hell is this? It's one man. It's one strat. And it's one minor god. One man, one strat, one minor god. That's all that matters here. Doesn't matter what major god. Like your major god says, you get a bonus on economy. Great, okay. Well, you get a bonus on dwarves. Yeah, okay. I get a bonus on great halls. No worries. I got the same strat for you every single game, and I'll tell you what, it works. It works. As we're gonna keep trying to break through here. However, another Migdol stronghold is now up, and we are seeing Axemen getting mixed in from Benny to deal with these Hersa. Fighting now underneath the town center fire. 2 Migdols. The Spearmen, however, chasing in some camel riders actually getting brought through. Benny says, let me get the villagers in here as well. Because if I can hold this without losing too much, we're going to be in a good spot. And now Garmajuda says, all right, I will run. That's fine. Let me pull back. It's all good. As the dwarves over onto this side, getting sniped. Scorpion Men coming through. Picking these bad boys off. Meanwhile, Cav going down left, right, and center. And I think Benny might have found the answer here. Going into the final little part of this game. He charges forward, sniping myth units, sitting underneath the town center of Garmajuda. Garmajuda's economy feeling a little bit lackluster at the moment. On the farms, he is eating some food over here, but he doesn't have a whole lot going for him now. And it looks like we will be going to a game 5 as Benny survives the onslaught for a second time. And here's the big question, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen the same strat 4 times in a row. Will Garmajuda treat us to it one more time? Or will he flip the script and go a different way? Let's get into game number 5. Guys, it's game 5. We've just watched 4 times over a player by the name of Garmajuda playing gods that have access. I'm not even going to say... I feel like he's playing with the rules right now. The rules state, and I say this, the rules state that you're not allowed to play the same god that you've won with. And Garmajuda, dagnabbit, he has played the same god every single game, and that god is Freyja. He is not an Odin main. He is not a Freyja main. He is not a Thor main. He is a Freyja main. A class of his own. It's game 5. It's worked twice for him. It's failed twice for him. Benny has to figure it out with Isis. See, Benny lost with Odin first, then figured it out with Odin. He then lost with Set, and then figured it out with Set. Apparently we're back onto Elysium. Didn't we have an Elysium game already? Am I going crazy? Are we allowed to have 2 Elysiums? Anyways, we're back onto Elysium, because apparently that's okay. And we'll see how things go. But it's Isis this time for Benny. Now, here's the thing. Isis, unlike Set, if you want full advantage out of the Isis economy, you normally take a little bit of a slower route to the classical age. Which, if you're playing against Garmajuda, he says, I'm good. I'm ready to rush you. He's not going for a crazy fast advance, but he's coming at you just when he hits that classical age, which I think is pre-4 minute. If I am not mistaken, I could be mistaken. It might be at 4 minutes, but nonetheless, that's what he goes for. So Benny does go for Flood of the Nile. He is going for the later advance time. He will be under threat very early on in this game. Another option could be to skip Flood of the Nile early, put the temple down, get a faster advance, and then get Flood of the Nile later, and you can kind of deal with this little attack a little bit easier. But nonetheless, relics coming through now for Garmajuda. He has found Tusk of the Iron Bull. He's found it. Now he's got Super Cav for his cavalry strat. He's got Canopic Drive. Why pick that one up? You're not going to build any infantry anyways. Don't pretend. We know. We understand. I see you with that relic. You're holding it there, hugging it. You don't want that relic. What else is on there? We got Archimedes' Ledger. That's going to make those siege. 1 population left. And Girdle of Hippolyta. Another relic that literally means nothing to Garmajuda. It's over. Temple up now for Benny. He does decide this time, however, and I like this. Inside town center fire. Now all of a sudden, Garmajuda, who's coming across the map, hitting the classical age 10 seconds after 4 minutes. You see a second one coming up. Won't be able to kill this temple without taking a significant amount of damage. So Benny is learning. He's also got food down here. He can drop serpents onto this spot or something like that. Not a terrible idea. As the Garmajuda, the force that we have come to know and appreciate from Garmajuda coming in right now. Benny taking a long time to get these things up. He will get pushed off of this gold mine. He does have a priest. He can heal up the villagers here as well if he wants to give that a try. As he moves up to the top side. Is he going for... Oh. Surely not. Surely not. Garmajuda. Will he have... Does his... His spider senses? Are they tingling? He sees the granary here. And he comes forward. Villagers pulling. Barracks on the way. The villagers over here getting targeted down. He gets one kill. He gets one kill. Does he get the other one into the tower? No, he's trying to garrison. He can't garrison. He can't click on it. The villagers are down. Garmajuda searching. He sees the water, but he doesn't see the villagers over there. Not the best start for Benny. Garmajuda's rush has given him everything. The Valkyrie coming through. Barracks coming through. Spearman on the way. Just very, very nervy at the moment. As the Valkyrie says, excuse you, I gotta know, you're not in your main base, you gotta be somewhere. One berserk goes down, the villagers over here do get spotted. One priest, a handful of spearmen, and a lot of units will be beelining for this gold mine. However, the serpents to come down. I like that play. Very smart. Cool, calm, collected. Gets the full gold mine with the serpents on top. Should be okay here. Double Valks coming in. Just sit on the gold mine. This is why you put it here. It's a great way to defend. Priest Pharaoh snipes one Valk. Splash one. Cursor out of here. Garmajuda, he's got himself his second Great Hall up. He's pumping these raiding cavalry. He's ready to get something going here. Yeah, when Benny did this, let me show you. I think what happened was he accidentally put this down, and then if that's there and I'm trying to garrison into the tower, it's gonna like I have to like rotate the screen around so that I'm not clicking over the barracks because the barracks will want to be built. Anyways, well, one villager getting left here. Spearman popping out. Can he keep the villager alive? He does manage to do so. Snipes a couple of units here, jumping onto pigs now. As the wall's coming up over here. This game does open up in Garmajuda's favor. Unlike last game, where Benny defended everything. This game, losing a couple of villages, but he does have access to Flood of the Nile, so that does change things. However, on top of that though, Benny doesn't have access to those animals of set. So he's eating pigs here rather than being on hunt. So while he's losing stuff and gaining stuff, I have to assume right now the Garmajuda is in a good spot. But he is still going with this strategy of just pumping raiding cavalry. And I just can't be a fan of it. I'm a fan of it just for the fact that he's just so all in on this strat. But I can't be a fan of it in terms of this is the strat to go for in a game of Age of Mythology retold against pure Spearman Priest. Now we are seeing some walls coming up over here. And at this point, Garmajuda realizes, well, I got to get in here, take this out. If he comes through, is he coming in? Yes, he is. And he will be spotting the villager over here, putting the walls. But some spearmen are in position to somewhat defend. Kind of looks like Benny's spidey senses have tingled here. This villager makes a run for the main base, but gets caught out. Goes down. Villager's diving into towers and all the other good stuff. Spearman just trying to get Little bits of damage done. And now Benny has found himself in a very difficult situation. And that situation is he's got an immobile army. He's got villagers on this, and he's got villagers over here. Now, he can just leave that top side, move back into his main base, no problems. But this is where Garmajuda is going to find the most amount of value. He's actually queued up now. Thundering Hooves. He's got that Hammer of Thunder coming through. And he's going to say, hello there. I would like to say good day over on this side as another wall coming down here to defend. Priests sitting down on this side. Need to be careful with those. Don't want to be leaving them. That's a Pharaoh. What are you doing there with that Pharaoh? Got to be careful. Does manage to keep that one alive. Villagers go back to the gold. So much damage onto Benny's economy. I'm like not looking at what's going over here from Garmajuda. He's spread out all over the place. He's grabbing food. His economy is looking strong. Armory upgrades coming through as we move through. He's got full copper in. As the wall's getting broken down onto this spot. With the fact the spearmen are here, you can just defend this. This is not going to do anything. It's just a distraction at the moment. Like we said, the big advantage here that Benny's got is that he can literally attack anywhere and Garmajuda can't really defend. So Garmajuda needs to keep attacking places over and over and over and over and over again so that if Benny does decide to go for an attack, Garmajuda can counterattack. As the wall does finish up. Over onto this side. And Benny needs to be thinking, where are those cavalry going? And they are moving down to the bottom side. The spearmen need to make a way down here and defend. He can kind of sneak through here as well. The spearmen are in position. There is an opening here. As the spearmen trying to cut off the raiding cavalry. Meanwhile, medium upgrades now in. Lots and lots of obelisks here. I like all these obelisks because it gives so much help, so much vision here as well. Is there an armory up? Oh, the priest getting caught out. Not ideal. Garmajuda is looking for every little bit of damage he can get. Picking off a couple of priests is a big deal. But does lose a raiding cavalry for it. That's a good trade though. Now Benny has to go. He has to figure out something to attack. There's walls up. There isn't an opening here to attack, but there's a way to defend. Meanwhile, there's double layered walls up onto this spot. The spearmen are over to get little bits of damage on the defense. And Anubite as well. No Valkyrie are through. These spearmen need to go. He's got to attack. There's positions everywhere. Villagers are all out, all over the place. Lots of raiding cavalry going down. One villager going down here. As the spearmen coming through, going to break down the wall. There's an escape route over here. There's one over here. The Anubite dives across. Garmajuda says, I'll leave. I'll go here. No problems. The spearmen do manage to cut off the raiding cavalry there. The villagers into the corner. They're going to just jump onto Hunt because why not? Moving up onto the top. He's got himself a bunch of different things. He is now going to the heroic age through Bragi. Now, to be clear, Bragi with raiding cavalry, if he does decide to just run at the spearmen, click flaming weapons, I'm pretty sure the spearmen at this point will win that fight still. However, Garmajuda's tech switch into Hersa and then flaming weapons, that's scary for Benny. And I guess behind all of this is he doesn't have a market. He can't sell, he can't buy. He hasn't been buying food in this game. His macro has been quite nice. Up to the top side, spearmen looking for some dwarves over here. Benny is moments away from some very much needed return fire. Comes over here, sniping the dwarves. Pulls back over onto this side. There's a priest getting caught out of position, though. He's got to get those spearmen back in. Losing these priests, not ideal. Absolutely needs them to deal with myth units. Loses all of them as the raiding cavalry do get pushed back. Meanwhile, over onto this side, little bits of damage in, but the battle boar is there to defend. However, Garmajuda is actually still pumping raiding cavalry. I thought he was going into his classic Hersir transition at this point. He's moving forward. Villagers out in the middle of the map now. Out in the open. The raids might end up hurting. Villager differential is equal now after a bit of a revenge raid as the spearmen up to the top corner here. Getting chased down. The raiding cavalry coming through over here. Benny has to know this has got to be the only real place that he's worried about. The villagers can run it this way, and we see a pause. The suspense is palpable. I've got no idea what the pause is about, but there's a pause. And we're going to have a little bit of a little instrumental interlude here as we going to be listening to the old classic Girl from Ipanema performed. Nope, never mind. We're back in. No Panina for you. We are back to all the good things here. As the raiding cavalry now into the main base. Villagers here do have a tower they can run to. No problems. He's got to react, though. Good reaction. Not going to be losing anything here. As Benny trying to get back. He might be able to catch these units on up here to prevent them from actually getting out of this base. They can come through here as well, so walling that off. But, I mean, if he goes that way, he's not really going to get much. There's now the wall coming up. Another serpents to come through as the villagers pulling over onto this side. But with the serpents in, a forest fire from Garmajuda. He's been holding on to that one all game for this little move. But realistically, Benny is fine here. He didn't lose a single villager. He is losing a handful of units, and he does lose the serpents. He's got to wait out this forest fire because this is too much. As the Pharaoh does get sniped down by that forest fire, you can't run into those embers until the timer is gone. As Benny waits it out, and now he can take the fight. And okay, another pause is just ruining my life, isn't it? As the flaming weapons, we had the forest fire. Now the flaming weapons to come through from Garmajuda. And Benny pauses. I'm very confused. I am very confused at this point. And now our, oh my God, I think these guys, something weird is going on here. I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to pretend as we're going to continue through. Garmajuda does end up losing that fight there during flaming weapons. And the game to continue along. Priests coming out. There's going to be a lot of favor in for Garmajuda as the priest to take down the battle ball here. Those Hersir, there's just not enough numbers here, even with the flaming weapons. The fact that all these priests are out to deal with the Valkyrie and everything else is such a big deal. Axemen should start coming through as well. But Benny needs to be careful. He's only... Okay, what is going on? His only real saving grace at this point is the fact that he's got the counter army. The fact that Garmajuda is only building Hersir and raiding cavalry. So he's going to have to be careful. He can't overdo it on Axemen. Can't underdo it on Spearmen. And all the other good stuff. But right now, we will we'll hit you with that pre-requested tune. You got the girlfriend. Garmajuda is looking up the hotkey for Longhouses. That's too good. And we are back as the game is going to keep on doing this to us, and that's fine. But a couple of units falling. Lots of low HP units. Lots of raiding cavalry coming out. Lots of Valkyrie. It's the Spearman coming in here, trying to poke. Little bits of damage here to take out the Hersa. Does manage to snipe that one. Pulling back as a little cheeky obelisk to come up. But man, Benny is like so spread thin right now. And Garmajuda knows it. He sees the granary. And the Priest seeing everything. The Axeman coming into position. The Spearmen need to move up to the top here. Axeman versus Valkyrie raiding cavalry is a loss. But the Priests will be very good here. And Garmajuda needs to pull back. Benny stuck right now in the classical age. Walls coming up, trying to sort everything. There's dwarves everywhere up here. Spearman getting healed back up. Into the main base is a classic maneuver here from Garmajuda. There's not a whole lot there. I mean, there's a lot of villagers here. Needs to be careful as the army gets spotted. Diving into the tower here. And another raid to come up to the top side. These walls coming through. I mean, Benny needs to think about some revenge raids here. Like, he's playing defense a lot at the moment as the raiding cavalry poke through here. Coming up to the top. There's not really any units. There's a handful of spearmen. Is this going to be enough? He sees the raiding cavalry. Pulls back ever so slightly. He can come over onto this gold mine maybe. He's going to have to start farm soon. Villagers getting all their walls up to try and defend themselves. There is an escape route here for Garmajuda. As Benny says, hang on, let's try this attack down the bottom yet again. He's now 180 pop. Spearman, Axeman, all over the shop here. The farm's up into the main base as well. He's got one villager on wood. He's like, there's another building here that Garmajuda doesn't know exists. The town center. He's got no idea the town center exists. Meanwhile, heavy raiding cavalry is in. Lots of units out of position over here. As Garmajuda sees his opportunity to pounce here. The priests are caught out of position. The army of Benny is not in. And this is a great amount of damage now for Garmajuda to push himself further in front of this game. Huge fight here. Huge takedown. And the game continues along. Villagers falling over here. Army moving up to the top side. And now, Benny is now stuck here in this classical age for even longer. He was in a great spot. He had full pop army. The villagers over here spotting those dwarves. And now Benny taking this fight. I mean, it's not a terrible fight for him. He does have equal military. The wall's coming up behind here. Spearmen are good versus raiding cavalry. But these are upgraded. They've got full bronze. No, they don't have full bronze. They don't have... But neither does the Benny upgrade... Benny Spearman have any upgrades himself. He does manage to win the fight, though. As he should. The villagers up here spotting some dwarves, picking those off. Everyone's to this side. Little pockets of Spearman raids. The Valkyrie. They're in. We'll snipe those down. And what's Garmajuda's next plan here? He makes Hersa. He makes Raiding Camp. Maybe he makes Ragnarok heroes. Maybe he makes Ragnarok heroes. All right. More priests needed. The Valks are in. He has the army of Valks. The March of the Valk. There's one priest. 2 priests? 3 priests. 3 priests. And Penny is just spamming Spam and trying to hold on here. The wall coming up over here. That's going to get denied. This villager here. Oh, gets sniped. Wall's going down. Army to move up to the top side to protect his villagers. More spearmen coming through. Benny's got to be shaking his head at this point. How do I deal with this? That's so many Valkyrie. Into the main base. Just a tiny raid there. That gets deflected. The army is in at the top. He can take this fight. Those Valkyrie might seem scary. They're not that scary. When you got all these priests, I mean, there's 3, but if you got all these priests and these spearmen, totally fine. And now, Garma Judah, he spots more villagers to kill and he says, yes, thank you. I will take those kills to the bank as these villagers here have to pull, but they run straight to the spearmen's. Great move there. He still doesn't have himself that survival equipment tech. Has some walls to come down here from Benny, but the more raiding cavalry coming through. Can Benny hold? It looks like he does. The raiding cavalry have to pull back. Now Garma Judah up on pop. Up on military resource value. He's got his raiding cavalry. He's got his Valks. The villagers here need to get involved. This might not be enough for Benny to hold here. The raiding cavalry numbers are insane. Villagers falling. He has 5 great hauls. He's got 1 billion raiding cavalry queued up. He is absolutely dominating this fight now. And after all is said and done, it looks like Garma Judah is going to be going on to take this series and move on to the semifinals. Benny is going to continue fighting, but he's out of food. He's got 2 farms. He's got half a gold. He's got a sixth of a gold mine. And Benny taps out. And Garma Judah, the hero no one asked for, the hero we don't deserve, but the hero that we have. The man says, I like raiding cavalry, I like Valks, and I like her, sir. And that's it. Comes at us and shows us how it's done. The story is written and will stay in the history books forever. Congratulations to Garma Judah. We'll see if you can do it again in the next round. Better luck next time to Mr. Benny WR. What more can I say? Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit the follow button. If you didn't, make sure you tell someone you hate to come and hit the follow button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.